Okay, I've got something that I thought was very timely over here.
Okay.
So this was 18 of the biggest mistakes you can make on a first date.
All right.
I thought it was very timely because Kat was very excited about a first date this weekend. On Friday, you said you had a date, and then I asked you about it this morning, and you described it as a perfect first date.
It was a really great. Yeah, it was awesome. It was Saturday that we went out, and it was really great.
You've also noted that you've had a couple of terrible first dates here over the past month or two.
There have been a few.
So maybe if not this past weekend, from prior weekends, some lousy dates. So let me tell you what I've got here. This is from Thought Catalog, Kat.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, this is from the Daily Mirror. Let me try that again. Daily Mirror.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the first thing is forgetting somebody's name in the middle of a date. Can't say that one's ever happened to me.
No, that's not ever happened. But that would definitely make things awkward.
It makes me so mad.
I'll tell you when it happens to me. You've probably noticed it. Maybe you haven't. Whenever we're doing a giveaway and someone tells me their name, I forget their name in the middle of the phone call.
I know.
That is such a hard thing because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I won't need to remember what your name is after we hang up the phone.
Plus, you're focused on a lot of other things while you're
right.
doing that.
I have to talk about certain things that are in the liner sheet and what the prize is and
make sure that the phone call's recording.
So sometimes when you tell me your names, I'll edit it out sometimes. I have to ask for a name again sometimes.
Yes.
It drives me crazy. But that's not a date situation. If I'm on a date with somebody, I know who I'm there with.
Sure. At least I would hope you did.
Number 2, eating like a pig.
Yeah, if you're just like shoveling it in your mouth, that'd be kind of gross.
Yeah. Or, completely. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I went on a couple dates with this guy who, when we would eat, he was always done eating way before I was.
Really?
And yet he never stopped talking. And I can't figure out, it took me forever to figure out how he could possibly, first of all, talk that much. But second of all, how he could talk that much and finish eating before I made it through a salad and a couple bites into a sandwich, like a lunch kind of situation. And then it occurred to me, it's because he just talks with his mouth open. He doesn't stop talking.
I am a notorious slow eater. Now, it's funny because I've actually won a speed eating competition here on this radio station.
That I know of.
But when I'm not in competition mode, when I'm not in beast mode, I am a notorious slow eater.
Yeah.
Usually one of the last ones done, but that's just me. I don't think I eat like a pig, but what do I know? Number 3, this never happens to me, being late.
If you have a legitimate excuse, it's not a big deal. But don't be late.
I would consider that also not a big deal. But I mean, plus in today's day and age, you can text and be like, hey, I'm running 10 minutes late, whatever, be there soon.
Sure.
But for a first date, that would be a pretty big strike.
Yeah. And, to me, late is not 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, but late's like, I think anything past 5 minutes. Like if you're supposed to get together at 7 and it's 7:05, okay.
I'll even give you 10.
Yeah. But anything later than that is just, and especially without notice, without like a text or something, is just completely inconsiderate.
Number 4 is counting calories at the table.
Oh, yeah. No,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Oh, really?
No.
I mean, I've never done that, obviously. Look at me, but I wouldn't be offended if somebody did. What does that mean?
I think it wouldn't be a big deal if a girl did it just because I don't know why.
I absolutely think it would be a big deal if a girl did it, because I think that if you are counting calories on the regular, then you should kind of plan accordingly with where maybe you go to dinner and have an idea of what you're going to eat when you get there, but not actually sit and try to figure out what you're going to eat.
What if the guy's trying to surprise you and be like, I made reservations, this is where it's going to be? Or like, what if he doesn't tell you where it's going to be, or you don't want to be rude and be like, well, it's not part of my diet or anything like that? I think it's different if a guy's doing it, then it's going to make a girl feel uncomfortable about eating. I feel like a guy's probably not going to be uncomfortable about eating.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, if someone I was with started counting calories at the table, it wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's different if a girl does. I mean, I could be wrong, but if I was a girl on a date and a guy started counting calories, then I'm like, okay, then I suddenly need to be insecure about what I'm gonna eat.
And if she said she was counting calories, I'd be like, what's a calorie? Honestly,
right.
That was never even on my radar for things that could possibly be rude on a first date. Kat mentioned this one, chewing with your mouth open. Or, well,
Yeah.
I guess talking with food in your mouth, but...
Which, now, I will tell you that I've been known to answer a question. Like, sometimes somebody will ask something and it's like, it's one of those things where, I don't know, for whatever reason you feel like it needs an immediate response and you've just taken a bite of something, but I will
Yeah.
like cover my mouth with my hand and try to answer their question and tell them, okay, just hold on or whatever.
I feel like the default thing for when that happens is to try to pronounce the first word and then put your hand over your mouth and be like, oh, I have 1 second, I have food in my mouth. And like,
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
Yeah, but to just talk with your mouth open in chewing and just shoveling food is it's just wrong, Rob. It's just so wrong.
Kat, on some of these tumultuous first dates that you've had over the past few months, have you dealt with number 6? Someone who belches? Who's belching on the first date? I know that's rude.
I've not. Okay,
If you belch on a first date, that's ballsy.
sure. Well, and here's the thing: it's a human function, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't help it. Now, if you make a
Rarely.
big, right? But if you make a big production of it, or you just like completely let it rip, there's a way to. There's a way to belch, for lack of a better way to put it, in private.
Yes.
You know, subtly, as opposed to like, you know, just ripping one that's going to shake the windows. That's different. That's gross. That's foul. Don't do that on a first date. Save that at least until, you know, you're in the comfortable mode where you're just hanging around watching
Sure.
movies in your pajamas.
Understood.
Then
Agreed.
then you can belch. It's fine.
I even added farting into the mix now once I'm comfortable.
Of course.
Number 7 is not something that I would consider rude, but it can definitely ruin a first date. Running out of things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
That shows that there's a level of incompatibility, I think.
I think so.
Number 8, only talking about yourself.
Yes.
I agree. That is a bad thing to do.
Or hearing what the other person is saying, but not actually listening to it. Does that make sense?
It does.
Faux listening. You know, there's a difference between listening to somebody for the sake of learning something about them, or, you know, because you're interested in it, and listening for the sake of just being able to respond to it.
Let me give you one more before we cut this in half here, Kat.
Okay.
The 9th biggest mistake you can make on a first date is a little bit different than the last one. Talking about your ex. Well, to be honest with you, I don't know that bothers me.
I think it depends on how much and in what way. I think if, you know, because let's face it, we all have exes.
Not so
well,
fast there, Kat.
Rob didn't, but, you know, but most of us, at least at my, you know, at almost 36, most of us have
Yeah, you're
at least
definitely
at least
right.
one ex. And I think that, you know, I think it's okay in a small dose, and I think it's okay, you know, especially if you get along with them. Like, you know, for me, my daughter's dad, you know, if he were to come up in conversation, I haven't
Yeah.
had a relationship with him in, you know, 14 years, but he's still a part of my life because he's my daughter's dad, and, you know,
There's probably
but
a-
I speak highly of him because he's a good human being.
There's probably a right and wrong way to handle talking
Yeah.
about the exes, and you don't want to sound like you're still hung up on them.
No, or that you're really, really bitter, because that also means that you haven't let go of something and moved on from it.
I agree. Let's cut this in half. I've
Okay.
got 9 more for you. I appreciate your feedback on the first half, and Chandel too, and we'll get to the other 9 here in just a second on 106.1 KISS FM.